Hey everyone, I hope you all are safe and doing good. So in the series of learning C++ programming language, we are discussing object-oriented programming in C++ OOPS concept. In the previous video, we have seen that was just about introduction to OOP, like what is object-oriented programming, how OOP is different from POP, what are some drawbacks and advantages of both the approaches POP and OOP. So that video was about POP versus OOP. Fine. Now, the very first thing you need to understand is if you are following this object-oriented programming approach, then to write down a program, you need to understand what is a class, what is an object. Because without classes and objects, we cannot write down any program in object-oriented programming. Right, so this is the basic thing you need to understand. In this video, we will see that thing also. That thing only, what is a class, what is an object, how to define a class, how to declare the objects. With some real-life scenarios also, I'll discuss this thing. Right. I hope now you have the idea like why OOP? Why? Because there are some drawbacks in that POP approach. The main was we have discussed that data security. There is no data security because we basically in POP focus on procedure, how to do the task, basically on the functions. We don't focus on data because data we declare many data globally. Global data is there and obviously global data, all the functions can access that data. So any function can modify that data. So data is not secure. Right? If one function has modified that data, then another function is accessing that, the data that has been already modified. Right? But that function basically, maybe that function wants the previous data. So that would be some kind of inconsistency in the data and all. So there is no data security in POP approach. There are so many functions. If you are using that POP approach for solving a large problem on a large project, so there are maybe 50 functions, 100 functions, right? Each function is calling other functions, right? So they are interconnected with each other. So it's very difficult to track which function is accessing which global data and all. There is so much complexity in that case. And data is moving freely, so no data security is there. So that is why we have, we are now following object-oriented programming approach. Although there are many other limitations also of this POP approach, but one is this thing, right? Others obviously we'll discuss one by one in later videos, right? I hope you got this drawback of POP, right? Now in OOP, how the data is secure? Because whatever the data, right, and the functions which are going to perform on that data, we usually bind those functions and data in a single unit, basically. Now, what does that mean? Let me just show you with the help of, proper example here. See, suppose, let's take, because I have told you to solve real world problems or for real world scenarios, to model those real world problems in a programming language, we use OOP approach, right? We can easily model all the real world scenarios with the help of OOP approach, right? And why? Because of these type of concept we have in this approach. See, suppose let's take one example. I have a YouTube channel, right? So basically what we need to run a YouTube channel, basic these four things: instructor, editor, thumbnail designer, social media marketer, right? If you have a small channel, so if suppose I have a small channel, so I am instructor, I am editor only, I design my thumbnails and I only promote my videos, right? Now, okay, it's okay, I am everything here, one man army. But what if I want to start many courses simultaneously? Suppose I want to start one Java course, one web development course, one like maybe Python course, one for prompt engineering and many courses. So obviously, for the growth of my channel, I cannot do everything, right? I cannot teach everything and can do all the things. So what I can do is I can hire instructors, right? Suppose one instructor for Java, right? Now I have hired one instructor, also maybe I have hired one editor, right? And social media marketer, editor who is going to edit my videos as well as design my thumbnails. So 3 persons I have hired, right? Now I am the manager. Suppose I am the manager now, I don't need to do anything. So I'll just coordinate with these persons, right? Now I am the manager. I don't need to tell the instructor how to teach. I don't need to tell the editor like how to edit the videos. I don't need to tell this person, like how to do this marketing and all, because I think they in this field they are better than me, I guess, right? I don't need to go in detail of these tasks because they will do their task, they will do their job, and they will like, I just follow up, right? Now see, suppose instructor, I have hired 2 instructors. So these instructors are having obviously some 2 things are there. Whatever the instructor, like he or she has, and what he or she does. 2 things are there. Has means like they're obviously instructor, like suppose I am the instructor Jenny, so I have some name, maybe address, and I'm having has laptop or not is equal to maybe true, and has my account number and something like this. I'm having some details with me, right? And what I do, suppose I'm the instructor, then obviously teach, then maybe prepare quiz, so these are the attributes, or these are the obviously name, address, has laptop, has account number, and location and all. These are what? Variables, we can say. Simple variables we can take. And what I do is, we can do like, these are functions. I teach, I prepare quiz, or any other thing also I can do. Fine. Now in this case we don't call these free like variables and functions. When we are following this OP approach, we call these attributes, and the functions are known as methods, not functions, methods. Why so? Because these are not freely moving in the program. These things, the name, address, and I can teach, prepare, these attributes and methods, these are associated with the instructor. Suppose I am the instructor, one instructor is Jenny. So I have name, I have my address, I have this property, I have like this attribute, account number and all. So these are associated with me. That is why we don't call these variables and functions, we call these attributes and methods, because these are not free in that program, not freely moving. These are associated with a particular object, like I am an object, I can say Jenny. So these are associated with the particular instructor, right? So basically these 2 things are there. And second instructor maybe suppose like Gia, right? So these things, these attributes and these methods, we just put these things in a single unit, right? Because these are associated, I mean these are related, this data and these functions, these are of one instructor, like this, and this is nothing but like an object, right? So Jenny, Gia, these are objects, the actual real world entity, these are known as objects. Fine. So objects are important. Whatever we do here, we will do using objects, on objects. That is why we call it object oriented programming, not class oriented or anything else oriented. Object oriented. These objects are very important. The main thing is object. Then why class? Right. Class is like a blueprint to create objects. Like suppose I have that map. For construction, we have basically first the map of that building on a piece of paper, right? So that map is like a blueprint, and the actual building you build, those are objects. Many buildings you can build with the help of that one map. If you don't have that map, then also you can build buildings, but that would be a little bit difficult to manage and all. Right, because there are so many persons while building that building, so many like laborers, contractor, engineer, and many more. And so if one person who is the main having that map, according to that map he or she can guide every person like what to do next. So that would be easy. So map is like blueprint. So here same, class is like blueprint, the design, like we have idli maker, right? To make idlis, we have idli maker. That is a design. So with that help of that idli maker, you can easily, cook those idlis quickly within 10 to 15 minutes, right? And you don't have that idli maker, then maybe you can make idlis with help of some other objects, but that would obviously take more time. But if you have that design, you can easily, like, I don't know much cooking, but I have that idli maker and I can easily make idlis with the help of that. Right, so that's the beauty of the design or the blueprint you have. So same here, like here class, instructor is class. So instructor is just a blueprint. We are not specifying any one person. Instructor is just general thing, blueprint. Instructor will have, every instructor will have some name, address, and these attributes and these functions, right? And Jenny and Jia, these are objects. These are actual things. I mean, you can say that real world entities, these are objects. Like in a company, we have many employees. So employee is a class and the person you are having, those are objects. Customer is a class and the customer, actual customer, those are objects. Right? So class is a blueprint. Fine. You can say proper definition, class is a blueprint for creating objects, and objects, basically we can say objects are real world entities. Or we can create objects from a class, and from one class we can create many objects. Now from this instructor class I can create many instructors, like I can hire as many instructors as I want or as I can afford, right? Jenny, Jia, Pradeep, Akash, Payal, many instructors. Of same with this blueprint, right? So every instructor will have name, address, these attributes and these two functions. If you create object using this blueprint, then all these things would be, obviously the actual values would be different because name of every instructor is different. So every instructor is having its own identity. Every instructor is having different address. Every instructor has laptop, maybe true or false. We don't know. Account number, true or false. Teach, prepare, quiz, these two methods every instructor will have. So every instructor will have its own identity, or like every object will have its own identity. Right? So I hope you got this. What is a class? What is an object? Now how to define a class and how to create object. Let me just show you this thing. How to define a class. General syntax is simply use class keyword here. It's a reserved word, class, and then the class name. Class name we write in Pascal, naming convention. Right? Like this. The class and name. First letter of every word is capital. So this is Pascal convention. So we write class name something like this. Suppose I have class name instructor. Same. Let's take instructor. Let's just model this YouTube channel problem in programming. How to model this? Same, we have class object concept. So class is instructor. In this block, you can write down your attributes and whatever the methods you have, right? Suppose I'm writing here. So these two are attributes and this is method, right? Of class instructor. This is how you define a class. Whatever attributes or methods you want to take, you just write down here. And see, we can say class is a user defined data type. Why I am saying this? See, as we know in C++ we have this string is a class, right? String is a class, and if you write down here string, I have written string name. So name is an object of this class string, right? But this is like we find these classes in standard libraries. These are already defined. Vector is also a class. We can define vector something like this. Vector, here the data type, suppose int, and name of that vector numbers. So here number is, it's like a vector object of type vector. So vector is a class, right? So these are but built-in classes, and we create object of these built-in classes. Fine. But class, this class is what? This is user defined. We are defining our own type, and that type we are defining our own blueprint, our own design, right? Is having name, these attributes and this method. And using this type, we can create objects. So you can say class is a user defined data type, right? So class basically binds attributes and, or you can say the data and the methods together, right? And we can hide, you can say class can also hide the data and the methods from accessing from the outside world using access specifiers, public, private, protected. Those we'll see in later videos. Fine. Now, how to create objects? With the help of one class, we can create as many objects we want. Because see, with the help of this string class, we can create many string objects. With the help of vector class, we can create many vector objects. So same, with the help of one class, we can create many objects, right? So now, how to create object of this class? Syntax says simple class name, then object name. This is the general syntax. So here, if you want to create, class name is instructor. And here just your class name and then object name. Suppose object name I am taking Jenny. That's it. This is how you can create object of any class. Class name, object name. Suppose another I want to create instructor and Gia. This is the second object I have created of same class, right? There is a second method with the help of new keyword also. You can create object, but that would be like pointer to object. And I hope this is clear to you. Now, next is what? This is how you can create the name of the class, right? Here the pointer asterisk symbol. Here the name of, suppose I am going to create Jenny, equal to new. After that, so I think after new I'm going to write here name of that class, again instructor, and with this. So this is the second method. Instructor asterisk the name of the object, whatever you want, is equal to new keyword, and after new we have instructor. Instructor would be supposed to be here, but we don't have space, so that is why I have written here instructor. This is pointer to object. This will return a pointer to object, and this is going to create directly object. This is pointer to object. Now what is the difference? Main difference is what? This is automatic storage allocation, right? Whenever this object is out of the scope, the memory would be automatically deallocated, would be freed automatically, right? But this is not like this. You have to delete this object explicitly when you are not going to use this object. I mean, when this object is out of scope. So how to delete this object? You simply use delete keyword and the object name is Jenny. That's it. So one is this, you have to explicitly delete this. And when you are creating this object, memory would be allocated from the stack portion. When you are creating object, pointer to object using this method, memory would be allocated from heap section, from dynamic memory allocation. This is also another difference. I told you, in memory we have like stack memory, also heap memory. For dynamic memory allocation, we use that heap portion. For static memory allocation, we use stack portion. So the memory is allocated for the Jenny from the stack portion, and from here from the heap memory, dynamic memory. This is kind of dynamic memory allocation. So this is pointer to object, right? But yeah, we generally use this, convention only to create objects because this is easy, right? If you want to use that object for a longer period of time, you can use this thing with the help of new, right? But for a shorter period of time, if you want to use, then again and again you have to delete that memory explicitly. And here you don't need to take care of that thing. Automatically a memory would be freed when this object is out of scope, right? So this is how you can define a class. You can create an object of that class. So basically you can say this object represents a specific instance of a class. Sometimes somewhere object are also referred as instance. Object or instance, both are same, fine. And see, with each object, Jenny, Gia, each object can use the defined methods, the class method. So here we have only one method, teach. So each object can use this method, teach. Right now, how to access these class methods, class attributes with the help of object, that thing we will see next video with the help of proper program. And it's not like that we can create only one object like instructor Jenny. We can create array of objects. We can create vector of object as well. See, let me show you. We have class instructor. Here I am going to create not a single object, array of my objects. So the name I am taking, suppose instructors. See, it's S and class name is only instructors, and array. Here you can give the size, or if you don't want to give the size, here only you can initialize. Suppose I am writing object is Jenny, Gia, something like this. Now two objects I have created, Jenny and Gia. These are not strings. These are not just names, these are objects, right? So don't just put these in these codes, right? These are name of object. Fine. Vector of objects also we can create something like this. We have like vector, and within this we use the data type int or whatever data type you want to use. Here the data type is instructor, our own defined class. So we just write here instructor because this is the data type, and here the vector name any name you can like suppose names. That's it. Right, and you can initialize this also like Pradeep, and every operation you can do like pushback operation, suppose we have, so that also we can do. Name of this vector is names dot pushback and equal to whatever you want to push back. I mean the value, the name of another object. Pradeep is one object is maybe Gia, or Gia we already have, so Payal. That we can do, right? So like this we can create arrays and vectors of these objects as well. So I hope you got this. If you have any doubt, you can just let me know in comment section. In the next video we will see like how to access these methods from these objects using these objects, right? With the help of proper program I'll show you, right? So now we'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care.